now it's not really the same, but it's still strong. We saw it the other day in some games there, the turnaround. Um, which series was that? I can't remember, but I mean, it definitely still packs a punch, but
Yeah,
not to the same
it doesn't
extent as
matter
before.
what year it is. Gyro IO combos just kind of all mesh into one, and are remembered as one, right? Like you don't kind of recall them individually, but like compared, as you said, compared to previously, it's not as like overwhelming. That was kind of around both being nerfed over time, right? Like at one point, like IO, the kind of cheeky "I'll give you ags" component for the gyro, and gyro did get tweaked quite a lot compared to back then. He's not as powerful early on.
Yeah, they've done some changes to like flag cannon and yeah, to a bunch of other things. And yeah, like you mentioned the X change on the IO. So yeah, of course it's not the same, but it's still a very strong combo that, you know, going into the later stages of the game, the combo still is very, very strong.
Yeah, and it's just a case like already HellRaisers are setting maybe a quicker pace to play up against like this what will probably be a kind of 4 Protect 1 lineup from 5 Comrades, because that's usually what we see whenever the gyro is picked, right? It's like, okay, it's everything to enable this gyro pick now since we have the IO.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what team was it? This the one with Shad?
I
Which
think
team is
it's
that again?
Viking done a draft
Yeah,
that, yeah.
Viking, right. Yeah, they drafted it twice. And yeah, they did play it as a position one. Like they played kind of the 4 Protect 1 with the gyro, but I don't necessarily think that's that doesn't have to always be the case. There have been a few like 4 Protect 1 strategies that I've seen recently, but I feel like you can kind of play it as, like you can have multiple cores with the with gyro and you can play that way too.
Yeah, I think it's more about like the presence on map factor, right? Like you need to treat your gyro IO similar to how you treat a Spectre, where like you have other heroes that are able to roam and set up plays, and then gyro can join in as the game goes on.
Yeah, to some extent, but at the same time, it's like I think the thing about this with gyro is that Gyro's so strong at fighting after, once he gets level 6. I mean, like, maybe 6 is not his ideal fighting unless he's, like, quite far ahead from the laning stage. But once you get to your, face, drums, BKB, whatever version of these items kind of you want, the early stat items, and once you get your spells kind of maxed out, you're very strong at fighting with Gyro. Whereas, like, something like a Spectre is, you don't really do much. But so with Gyro, you can kind of fight early on as well. I think the only kind of like weakness that they have now is like the laning stage is not super amazing against heroes that can push the wave because you don't really have that much creep clear.
That's true. Although right now, like it doesn't seem as if HellRaisers has that with the Clockwork, the Enchantress, now the Void coming out. And well, there's a Veno response from 5 Comrades. So it feels like they are going to have this kind of early kind of transitional period off the back of the Veno to take those towers, right? So you could see the presence, I guess you could say, for 5 Comrades, which is like always a thumbs up for the gyro pick. As you said, it's a hero that really can propel itself in the early levels off its magic damage to fight.
Yeah, and looking at this like now with the Warlock picked up, I really favor this 5 Comrades lineup. Like there's very little wave clear on the HellRaisers side. They have some like their safe lane is not a bad lane by any means, and going against Tiny Veno, like I'm expecting this Void to do quite well. I feel like this guy's gonna have to buy like a Battle Fury or something because they're gonna have some massive wave clear issues otherwise. But I just see that they have a lot of single target, and the team fighting is not terrible, of course, with the Void and the Warlock, but it's just they don't really have any spells to throw in there. Like they need this last pick kind of has to tie a lot of things together. Whether it's like some Shadow Fiend or Invoker type hero, preferably some range hero with like a bit of spell damage too that you can throw in there.
All right, let's try and we'll prep for the worst case scenario. What is the worst thing HellRaisers could pick around this out right now?
What's the worst thing? I some single target kind of melee. I mean, like some you know carry-ish, like something that just doesn't help them team fight or push waves at all would probably be the worst.
So like, if we're probably thinking mid here, right? So like
Hmm.
something like Kunkka would have been good, but they banned out themselves. Uh, something like I'm trying to think actually where they want to go with this. Because like right now they lack so much. It's not just the wave clear; it's the push as well. So like maybe someone like a DP, possibly.
Maybe. I mean, I could see something like I haven't seen it much recently, but like a hero like Leshrac kind of fits what they need. You know, like the hero is not really played that much mid anymore, that I've seen. But something along those lines would be nice because it just kind of offers so many things that you need right now. You know, it could be a Queen of Pain, it could be a Puck, but I feel like that's a little bit light on the carry side. I also think the Leshrac is quite good against Wisp at least. Not the best always against Gyro, but it can kind of go both ways. But yeah, just some kind of range hero that has a bit of AoE damage, I think.
They definitely seem to be
It's the ideal
scratching the head
scenario.
on this one a little bit. And
And
for
they're gonna
five
have last pick at least,
comrades,
so
yeah, it's
they
like
get
for
to
five
kind of counter
comrades, it's so
the
much
5 comrades
simpler.
hero. Now, I think the idea should be to just, you know, pick something where there's this wonky matchup, so you can't just pick just about anything into it. Because I feel like you have most of what you need on 5 comrades. They could add a bit more team fight, but to me it looks like they kind of want to play some divide and conquer map with this Venomancer setting up perimeters with the snakes. Oh yeah, actually it's 5 comrades with the last pick.
Oh yeah. It's, I mean, it's like it's so simple for five comrades as well, right? Like this stage in the draft, everything is kind of ticked. Like you
Did I
have
lose
the
you?
ability to reach. Oh, he has lost me. One sec, guys.
Testing.
10 seconds remaining.
Okay, there we go. Now you can hear me. Nice.
5
Okay.
seconds.
Yep.
Sorry, it's the chat because they are always caring and always watching and always judging. We're able to point out there was some funky stuff going on with my microphone. They could only hear me in one ear, which made me sound like, you know, it was kind of like you were on the right shoulder, I was on the left, and we were just kind of, one of us was being a saint, the other was giving really naughty
Oh
thoughts.
shit.
I don't know which one would be which, actually. I don't know. I feel like in some ways you're probably more reformed than me compared to your early like Sing Sing stream days. So you'd probably be the angel
Shit.
in this situation.
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's that clear cut, but I'll take it.
All right, we'll both be demons.
Yeah, I feel like that's more appropriate. I think it's like do the bad thing. No, do something even worse. No, do something way worse.
You could either walk mid right now, or you could drop your items and then walk mid. Oh,
Why drop your items? Buy a rapier and give it to the enemy team.
That's true. You could help them out. Maybe even drop some wards for them. Give them
Yeah.
that XP and gold. All right, they take a lot of time with this pick on comrades. I'm
Relocate
wondering.
the gyro into fountain. Toss him in.
Oh, that's right. Actually, what else can we get here that can screw your own
I mean,
teammates over?
I feel like this is an ideal lineup if you want to just mess your allies up.
Oh man, they're so split as well because like both sides have this, right? We've already seen what Faceless Void can do in this tournament. The clockwork that can cogs it. That doesn't throw your own teammates into a fountain, but
But this is
it
a
is
pretty
safe
cool pick. Yeah, it's not amazing into like clockwork because you can have some like clockwork can kind of initiate on you early on, and you know you can't really break out. But you're tanky. You should have a pretty good matchup against Puck. You have this, you know, once you get a blink dagger, you have this kind of instant stun against the void. So you're able to kind of just get on top of him and, you know, stun and kill him hopefully with tiny gyro, etc. And yeah, I think this is a nice pickup with the DK. I think that from my point of view, I think 5 comrades have a way easier draft to play. I think.
No, I agree. It's very kind of chill for them, you know. Apart from the potential to murder your own teammates, but that is unlikely to happen at this skill bracket. Whereas like HellRaisers, they do have a lot of potential damage output, right? If everything is done perfectly, where like you Fatal Bonds 5 heroes, then Puck dishes out the magic damage, then Void catches them in Chronos. Like, if everything is done perfectly, I could see HellRaisers taking these fights. But
I mean,
rarely is
I
that the
think.
case.
Yeah, I think the thing is like they have this. I think their offlane can be kind of strong. I think we kind of just have to see how well Inch Clock do. I think they have some potential to do well in this lane. Not entirely sure how this goes now, like the lane goes right now. But I think if they get off to a good start with the Enchantress Clockwork, then I think they could have some chances. Like, because I feel like the Clock can play the map then quite well, and the Enchantress can just be a big nuisance. I think if that happens, they could maybe buy enough space for this Void. I'm assuming is going to go for something like a Battle Fury. I would be very surprised otherwise, because he's the 1/4 and he's gonna need to they're gonna have to have someone who can push the lanes. So then I could see them have some chances with the Void, you know, being able to kill Wisp and gyro, etc. But otherwise, I really favor 5 Comrades.
Yeah, considering you just spent that whole time like giving specific conditionals and then just came back to, well, I kind of favor comrades here. I think it's
Yeah.
fair to say where you're sitting on this one.
Yeah. No doubt, no doubt. They
And
have just a much easier way to play this game. You
they
just
have backup plans, right? Like if something goes wrong, there's something else that can take over. Like, you know, if the early push of DK doesn't work, you can fall back on the gyro. Whereas like we see this so often with Clockwork, especially if the hero doesn't kind of get some pop off in the lane or rotate well early on, he doesn't feel like he has much to do in the game.
nah. And then also like the comrades, they have some heroes that scale quite well, like DK and Veno. They both scale quite well into late game. Whereas Puck and Ench, maybe not the entire exact same way. They can scale, but it's not as easy. And I also think it's 5 Comrades. They have way more tower damage. They have DK. They can kind of set up, perimeters with this Veno, and he can play this game where he plays with the tiny, and there's always this wisp reload. There's this threat for the relocate coming in, and so I just feel like they have multiple ways of playing this game.
Well, they're off to a good start on the side of HR because they just got first blood on a flash. So
Yeah.
we said this lane needs to actually apply pressure. It's already doing that, and like it's gonna be interesting to see if they can keep this up. Because the thing to keep in mind while there's beautiful trains in the background, gonna love that, is that this is a roster with two different players on HR. This isn't the regulars. Nyx, I think, is on a break right now. Elmo has hopped in for the time being, and they are using King R on a trial basis right now.
Yeah, they're gonna have some stand-ins. But yeah, already off to a good start in this top lane. See Enchantress getting his creep so he can kind of outsee us here. And yeah, I think this is the lane to look at a little bit. I don't really foresee any kills happening in the other ones. Maybe potentially on the Warlock bottom, or if somehow 5 Comrades mess up, but kind of passive lanes. Otherwise, this top one is really the only one that there should be any kind of action in.
Yeah, and it's always fun. I feel like it's always fun to actually watch Clockwork in the competitive scene, right? Because I think the way I've heard it described recently is this hero feels really strong in the competitive scene, but in like your pub games, you feel worthless, right? Like it's not a hero that you are able to easily practice, shall we say, because of the coordination requirement to make it work.
Yeah, I haven't been playing too many Clockwork games recently myself, but there might be something to it.
I think it's that case of like as a 4, usually like if you can't have mass impact early, you need some sort of recovery mechanism, right? Like maybe you can push waves, or maybe you can like poke from afar, you can just shove them in. Whereas Clockwork, if he wants to shove a lane, he's exposed, and he can't easily get gold. Maybe Rocket Flare gets you a creep here and there.
Yeah, I mean, what I feel like this hero can do, and usually does, is like you buy these boots, and once you get to your level, whether it's starting with the battery assault or once you get level 3 with the 2 points in battery assault, you can usually, I mean, depending on the matchups and stuff, you can always rotate towards mid or even to your own safe lane and kind of just one up them, and you can kind of play that game and mess it up. You're not the strongest ally in the laning stage to whatever is your position 3, but sometimes they just have to suffer a little bit so that you can go and create something somewhere else.
I keep having
And I think,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, and Enchantress is one of those heroes she's really good at playing these lanes on her own, because just of how strong the hero is, and the stats, and you can get this heal, and
Radiant's
yeah,
top tower is under
It's
just
not
one
an
of those
easy
heroes that can
rundown
sustain.
for
Nah.
these two as well. Like you've got a stun, but it's on a delay. Like the moment entities that coming, Funnet can just run away, and you very rarely catch him. Oh man, I keep having to remind myself that now that we're doing production again, I have to be mindful of where I'm sticking my camera. I can't just stare at the trees anymore.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
It's like I think I saw some people complaining at one point about the camera action from the studio, and I was like, oh boy, if they thought they were getting a bad time, then wait until they see what I got in store. Ooh.
Yeah, you gotta work on your camera work.
See, this is a thing, Pycat. Like, different people target different things. A lot of people are like, oh man, how can I bring myself up to like Pimp and Scriff and Weapons of standards? And I'm over here going, I mean, it's cool like being a good spectator. See, I caught kill top. I done my good spectating, kill back and forth back. But wouldn't it be cool if someone learned to commentate from this showcase view? Like
I don't know.
full spectate work for like this. Okay, this is how we do.
That'd be something.
Have you ever tried playing a game of Dota from the showcase view?
I think at some point I did kind of try a little bit, but it's just... I feel like if you want to be able to play even remotely well, I feel like it's not really a thing.
That's like you're oddly giving yourself a handicap when you're already playing against some of the best players in the world. It's like, yeah, dude, I'm this good. Oh, I'm dead 3 times by 5 minutes.
Yeah. Top lane is looking a little bit rough for the Wisp. Gyro, we see the Enchantress is having a really good time. She's close to level 5. Gyro, Wisp only sitting at 3.5 each. And there's a 1k advantage for HR so far. So they are doing very well in their lanes. And this is a requirement, I think, in this game for them to have some chances.
Yeah, they can't afford to be behind. You know, actually, just thinking about that showcase reminded me of you remember the Techies issue, right? Where you couldn't hit his mines if you stood on top of them. And the only way you could get them is if you use showcase mode.
Oh,
King Arm,
mid.
by the way. I mean, while we talk about mid, there is going to be a kill there. Nicely done under the park. While top, there's another kill under the Desire. Tiny had been waiting there for a long time. I think Davai Lama had been there for like 30 seconds almost before it became apparent that he could go for it.
Yeah, and it's a very big kill. They get the kill on the puck. You know, it's a lot of some XP and gold for the Tiny, and also there's gonna be quite a bit of damage here coming out on the mid tower. DK popping the form.
Yeah, he's trying to get the catapult here quicker. The problem is now the puck is back. He does have the wave clear to instantly just expose that catapult.
Yeah, Voidus, he's queuing up a Midas. I'm not sure, like he's going maybe Midas into... Midas Battle Fury is very uncommon, so...
It's pretty greedy. Like, you know, one is good enough. That should propel you. I guess maybe the logic is that they can just
Initiation on
easily
mid.
do things with the puck, maybe. Speaking of which, as you said, that puck is the one initiating. Taki trying to back up. Toss back. Says, there you go. Have a freebie. Dragon Knight walks away on barely any HP, but does have the salve to heal up, and Kasani cannot pursue it.
Yeah, and some successful moves here by the Tiny.
So far, actually, I'm kind of surprised how often he's finding Kasani. Like, that shouldn't be that easy of a kill. It feels like Kasani's being really greedy with his spell usage.
Yeah, I mean, he just was able to kind of counter what the Clockwork was going to do there. We're going to see a Chrono bottom and the rotation from the Clockwork, so this should be a dead Venomancer.
And, of course, Funix now at a point where they can't really pressure him top. He's already got drums. He's got his level 6. There's not really a foreseeable kill for Comrade in this top lane.
Yeah, and this is why the Enchantress hero is nice to have. You can just, you know, he has even this enchanted creep, so he can protect himself from Rocket Barrage. He's high level. He can sort of just sit here in this lane and fight 2v1, and it's no problem, which gives King R a lot of free space to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, and there's very easily gankable lanes, right? Like, when you actually look at 5Comrades cores, they're all very static. Aveno doesn't have a good way of escaping, neither does a Dragon Knight. He just relies on the fact I'm too hard to kill. So there's definitely a lot of ganking potential for King R in this game, especially when you think about the combinations of things like the puck, for example, and the void as well in the bot lane.
Yeah, and I think probably what's gonna happen is 5Comrades, they really want this Veno to get to level 7 so he can get the level 4 snakes and start applying some pressure. Because Void shouldn't really be able to kill them fast enough. Like, he should be able to just pressure. They can rotate the Clockwork, and especially once they get 6, it's gonna be way easier. There's gonna be a fight on the top rune.
Yeah, speaking of that clock, toss forward onto him, and he is gonna go down. It required 3 heroes to get that kill, so maybe they can do something with this on the outer lanes, but it looks like the creeps have already been pushed in towards HR's side of the map, so just a freebie.
Yeah.
I love the way that Davai Lama is keeping this pressure up around the mid a lot, though. Like, it almost feels as if Kasani is always being pushed back. Yeah, he might be able to find, you know, a little bit of pressure here and there, but there's a reason he's already behind this lane, and you have to credit a lot of that to Davai Lama's rotations.
Yeah, Tiny definitely making Puck's life more difficult and miserable. We are gonna see a coil though on the mid lane with the DD.
It does look adorable. However,
DK should be fine here.
it is a DK, and if that wasn't enough to assure you, he has an IO as well. Spent a lot of time actually with the DK. Exotic Deer doesn't seem to even need any assistance. It feels like that's actually the kill that HR should be looking for.
I think Venom might have just killed himself here. He's not looking like...
It's fine. You know, he's got a tango. Oh, no. There's a bashes. There's a lot of bashes. Well, if you get the Gale out, he does at least force out the Chronos, so that'll be his consolation prize as well. You did require the big ultimate.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for the Chrono, I think then that would have not been nice for 5Comrades, but wasting that Chrono right there, that I feel like kind of just negates the whole thing.
Yeah, it's almost like they were paranoid as if more heroes are going to show up, but it's, you know, it's not easy. You've got half vision in this top area. It's under your tower as well. It feels maybe like a little bit. I get it. I get that you're worried about the rotations. I'm just not sure there are heroes that should have Void that panicky at this stage of the game. As I say that, Kasani gets brought down. Looks like room-wise, King R's able to pick one up, but looks like Taki's going to get another kill. HR, this is starting to fall apart quickly. By the way, Pycat, I do appreciate a good old Darth Vader impression, but you are breathing in that microphone a little bit hard, buddy.
Sorry about that.
Who's your son in this game? Who's the chosen one?
I'll take DK.
I don't blame you. He's 2-0-3 already. He's a boss.
Yeah, he's having a good time. He's gonna queue up that blink, and Puck actually went for the 0 points into phase shifts, and I think I'm not sure how I feel about this. I think it's very easy to kind of dodge the, like, I feel like it should be kind of easy to dodge the DK stun if you just have 1 point in phase shift, and we have seen him go down twice, so a little bit curious on this one.
There's multiple things to dodge in this game, right? Like, Gale's predictable, homing missile as well. Like, there's plenty of reasons to get that 1 point. I get why, you know, whenever you're playing Puck as a core, you always try and go for the max out on your nuke, because it's going to make you farm quicker. But considering the start he's had and he's 2 deaths in, maybe it's the time to submit that you need to have some sort of defensive maneuver.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is to, like, you always want to be as greedy as you can without it, you know, getting punished for it. And unfortunately for him, there have been a few instances where he kind of got punished, whether it's you know, because of the rotations that happen from the enemy team or his own team or lack of whatever. It's kind of hard to say, but it kind of feels like the 1 more point in Illusory Orb hasn't really, you know, made his game that much easier.
No, and, you know, the good news for him, of course, is that Funnick is having one hell of a good time. Top of the net worth chart entirely. This guy is getting ready to be the true boss one. I mean, Ego's not far behind him, but the difference between these two is one has items that are going to allow him to actively fight, and the other has a Midas.
Yeah, Funnick is having a very good time so far. And he is for quite a long time, I think, in this game going to be, unless he kind of misplays, he should be sort of the boss of this game for quite a while.
Yeah, I like that he's understanding the need for these early rotations as well. Like, he's just trying to pressure on a mid. You need to shrink that map quickly. Speaking of people who can actually take those towers and pressure, DK did use the Dragon Form just to pressure on the Kaysani a little bit. There's a lot of heroes from HR here, though, and I don't know if you want to fight this as comrades. The problem is you just use the Dragon Form, and you're not really doing anything with it.
I think it's okay for them to just, yeah, like, just park this Venomancer here. Like, I really don't know why this Warlock is mid. He's level 5.5. He doesn't have a tome or anything. I think he should just be sitting bottom and just farming creeps. And make sure you get your level 6. You can port into the mid fight if it breaks out. I'm not necessarily sure that it kind of favors HR to just be sitting there with a bunch of heroes. They do have the void farming, which is nice for them.
But that's kind of the problematic part there, right? It's like you reach that moment where you realize nothing's happening, you break away, and because they don't leave together, because you don't want everyone on the bot lane, you already see the Clockwork get picked, and you already see the rotation towards bot now that Miposhka's on the wave. So if he steps beyond that tower, the Gyro Eye will jump him.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure, but I think that might have been the Blink Dagger reveal on the DK. He did opt to just go instant Blink. I mean, the double bracer sure with treads, but went for the fast Blink Dagger, which is understandable. It makes Puck's game much more difficult. It can make Void's game much more difficult, and Void is going for the Midas into Maelstrom. So is gonna have some sort of farming capabilities and scale decently and also be able to push lanes. We're gonna kind of see how that turns out, whether he's able to push fast enough or not.
Whoop. King up. Just winding up his arm a little bit off the mark. Bloody Sky, he's already starting to get the walls down, so he might not be the easiest to breach here. And yeah, they have smoked, but do they want to commit the Chrono is the real question.
Yeah, and the mist hook also telegraphs smoke, sort of. They're gonna just set up a bunch of snakes here. This tower should go down to being deniable. We're gonna see if they're gonna deny it or just keep lingering here and try to force out a fight. And they're just gonna go with the deny.
It's the safest point, right? Like, you know that's eventually going to fall. You're not worried about denying at that point because of the failed hook shot. There's no sort of immediate repercussion for no longer having that tier 1 tower.
Yeah, you lose a little bit of, like, you can say some access to your own middle lane area, and, Dire to some extent gain some control of that area, but it shouldn't hurt them too much. We're gonna see the Wisp Gyro here. They're trying to farm this Ancient stack, and I feel like this might be a little bit too early here. I think they might be just better off going somewhere else. I think the time it takes them to farm this Ancient stack, it's not actually worth it at this point, because Gyro only has 2 points in the flat cannon, and sure, it's an 18-second cooldown, but it's only 3 hits. And I feel like he's gonna need at least, 3 or 4 of these, and I think his time could be better spent somewhere else.
Alright, but you see, you're missing the point. Hear me out here, Bert, right? This is an elaborate bait. They knew that HR was going to come, and now it can be made worthwhile by killing the members of HR.
Right. See, that's why you're divine and I'm only something Archon, maybe?
Whoa.
Something.
Wow, did they change how the system works? Is it like the closer you are to 0, the better you are?
Well, maybe I'm not Archon. Maybe a little bit higher, but
that
somewhere
explains
there,
the people that message me after the games going, you don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I figured them out now. They are.
Yeah, I dropped like I don't really know what Archon is these days, but I dropped like 6K rating, so
Oof.
I'm all the way down.
Damn, dude. Well, like I said, it's fine. This is not the Immortal bracket. This is the Divine bracket, okay? So there's less pressure. You don't have to overthink it. These are pro players, but apparently they're Divines now. I don't know how that happened because I'm pretty sure last
they're
time
pro
I
players,
checked.
but they're pro-esque. They're like pro adjacent.
Oh yeah. It's like, see, this is proof that rank really means nothing. We just give them a completely different, superfluous rank that holds no true meaning upon your abilities to achieve, guys. Remember Kuro was like, was it? I think was it back around like TI 3 or 4? Kuro was 4.5k or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like he still is somewhere around there. No, I think so. Let me check.
I like how you're like backing this up with facts, because for a moment it felt like a really bad dig there. Like, yeah, I think he still is. I mean, have you seen the way he plays the game right now?
Nah, but I feel like I can't remember. I remember him being some rank 4K before.
Yeah,
I remember that. Maybe he leveled up a little bit.
it was a different time there as well, then, right? Because that was back when the ranked for party and solo were separate, and I think Kuro tended to play party like almost all the time.
Yeah, I'm not sure as to his his pub experiences.
That's the problem, but they removed that ability as an excuse. Like, yeah, dude, I'm really good. I just always play party.
I think he might just maybe he has a smurf, or he's just not playing. Okay.
All right, let's use the buff it. Fight come in. Gyro's going to be brought low. This was not the elaborate bait we were looking for. They'll reload out, and Dragon Knight's like, where the hell's my team? King Art, he's still testing those buttons. Dalai Lama moving in though with the kill on the Park and the clockwork going down as well. So it's a 2-for-2 exchange. And the Dragon Tail reinitiation coming out from Taki. He needs to be careful. The reload in. Harassing on the Funnick. Chrono is going to go down, and Funnick should be able to help out enough that Dragon Knight is going to be killed off here. Or is he? Io keeps him alive. Flash is able to save the day, and all of a sudden Funnick, the man of the moment who was in control of this game, finally gets his first death of said game.
Yeah, and what an elaborate bait that was. What a genius play going for that ancient stack that was slightly too big, but actually it was just a bait all along.
See, like while bait are not playing just yet, can they play later today? That doesn't mean we can't have the effect of that team name in this game. And it was actually a bait for the Gyro as well, because DK has done more farming towards that stack than the Gyro did. See, yeah, that's the better one.
It all turns out for the better. And he's going to be able to kind of just finish off some of these creeps now on the Gyro. Drag them over to the big camp, buddy? Or don't? I mean, you hate to see it, you know? You hate to see it.
He's like, dude, you're not playing right now, podcast. I'm playing. I'm a gyro. I got an IO. Okay.
I mean, you know, like once a carry player, you know, you just come on. Yeah, at least use the cur, give the vision. There you go.
There we go. He got that in the end. You know what it was? He instantly heard you. Like, Master Pedro's gonna tell me how to do things. All right, I can deal with this.
Nah, he's got it. He's got it. Puck kind of having a rough one so far. Void decided not to go for the Maelstrom. He's going into the Manta, and I'm not sure I fully understand this. I'm not really sure why. I can't really see any single reason for why you would go Manta in a game like this.
I don't know. Dodge Dragon Tail? Maybe? Dodge Home Missile? It's cute,
I
but
don't know. We'll
maybe
see.
a little bit questionable.
Maybe there's some plan that's gonna be revealed later on.
I don't know if it's gonna enable you to fight. Oh, here's Arnie. There's a lot of button testing going on with HR today. There you go, King Art. He found someone to hook shot onto this time. It just really didn't change anything though. Good job, buddy. Now when he's back up for a nice window, he will not be able to initiate, which means the pressure can continue from Comrades. Toss back onto Ego. Able to move away with time dilation to ensure that Comrade are too slow.
Yeah, a little bit slow on that DK stun. I don't know, he hesitated. Maybe he wanted the maximum amount of disable. He thought they weren't going to kill him otherwise. But that might have just been a kill otherwise.
You know, I don't want to be too much of a negative Nelly. Maybe I'll have to, because now we're finding dead. I was about to say, he's the only one who's really making stuff happen. But now the follow-up from the team is good. With the illusory orb, they were able to find the initial kill. And with the rock going down, they'll force Dragon Knight away. But buyback comes out from Io. Gyro does get chronoed on top of, but no, the reload! Flash gets caught inside it, and he's just going to die back here because he gets interrupted on the attempt to get away with the tether, and the bash follow-up from Ego is good enough that he will get the kill on that Io. And they're not done just yet. They're chasing down for more. Bloody Sky able to move away from King R in time, though. The hook shot is coming off cooldown, so he needs to be careful because there's the reinitiation coming in. He says, sure, I might die, but you're going to go down as well because Ego's RNG is through the roof here. Ay, ay, ay. Bloodbath back and forth. I'm not going to lie. The moment that HellRaisers lost Funnick, it looked like Comrades should be in control of that fight, but really well played by HR around those choke points.
Yeah, the chrono just came back up, and they had the rock. They dropped the rock. Good choice there by the Void, at least recognizing that he shouldn't go for the Dragon Knight in that scenario. I think that it would have just been a wasted chrono. He then proceeds to find the gyro. The Wisp comes back in, but the relocation, unfortunately, inside the chronosphere. And so, yeah, a decent fight. I think slightly coming out ahead for HR in that one, but not by too much. And I think if you're 5Comrades, you're still just fine with your item progression. Just gonna keep scaling. Diki's going for Halberd. Gyro's gonna have his BKB very soon. And you just need to keep splitting the map.
Your IO is definitely hurt a lot by that though, right? Because that slowed down his progress towards the mech. That also means, like, in a future fight in the next 7 minutes, you don't have that clutch buyback reload play that you can make. So that is someone they'll have to be aware of when they try and, like, you know, inject themselves on the HellRaisers side of the map.
Yeah, they're gonna get an essence ring on the IO though. So very fortunate neutral item drop there.
It's like, well, you know, you just had your dieback, buddy. You need something in return. Have like one of the best items you can get on an IO. Actually, I think this.
Yeah, definitely.
Would we rate this as like the best item? I'm trying to think if there's anything that really competes.
No, I'm pretty sure that's the best item for forward.
Other than
There's
that,
gonna be a BKB now on the gyro. He has double damage in his bottle, and it looks like it's go time.
pick off on them. Roche is probably the most likely thing they're thinking about here. Okay, they're just gonna go straight for it. I was wondering if they try for a wide wraparound. I guess their logic is no chrono for 20 seconds, and with a DD, we should be able to do this quick enough. They need to be careful.
I really don't like this idea, though. They're gonna get spotted by the clockwork. I think they had a very good opportunity just now to just go mid and get the kill on the Void, but doing this, I feel like you put yourself in such a dangerous position going up against Warlock and Faceless Void when you're sitting inside the pit like this.
Because there's the chrono, catches on the IO as well, one down already in the toss for. Diego says, thank you very much. I was looking for an additional target. They'll find Flash, IO, Gyro are both dead here. Davai Lama able to move away. They're pinging the Bloody Sky and trying to chase onto him. The Force Staff has been used, but they say, nah, there's no need to pursue this. All they've done is they've softened up Roche for us, and we can go and finish it, and then look to close the map.
Yeah, I think it's a very awkward idea to do this to begin with. They have this double damage, and they're very strong. They smoked up, and HR are showing on the map, and they still they run into them, and like they run into this Roche pit, and they give them this fight for free. They give the Roche for free,
and then they give them another fight for free. Like, Ego isn't even going to die from this. Manta out, says okay, now it's just the DK to deal with. I rejoins the fight. Disarm does come out, so Ego will back away here. Almost ticked down, in fact. Will go down. So Aegis has been used. Clockwork is stunned up inside the cooldown, so they'll be able to find the return kill into him. And Ego decides he's bit off more than he can chew.
Yeah, exactly. I think the continued chase there on a very fortunate haste rune here, and I think this might just be a dead basis for it. Oh,
he's got the time warp.
Yeah, I think the DK just messed that up. He was just about to get hit by the rocket, and he wasted his stun.
All right, so you know, HL get a little bit ahead of themselves, but they aren't punished to the extreme that they maybe should have. You know, 5Comrades will be grateful for what they got back out of that, getting rid of the Aegis so easily. But I mean, it shouldn't have even began with that. Like you were highlighting before we had this bloodbath around the pit. There was a clear opportunity for 5Comrades to set up an easy Roche off the back of a kill. Instead, it feels like they were overestimating how much damage they put out at this point in the game.
Yeah, and it's also they're kind of... I feel like they're just not really thinking clearly here. It's like there's a Clockwork. He can scout the Roche. He can scout just, you know, send a rocket towards top and it's gonna find you. And also fighting in the Roche pit is like the worst possible place. You know, there's this Clockwork. He can initiate with hookshot. There's a Warlock. There's a Faceless Void. There's a Puck. There's so many things that you don't want to fight into in these small choke point areas if you're 5Comrades. Whereas when splitting the map and just initiating onto HR, it'll benefit you so much more.
Oh, and you can already see that for HR, it's just like a more chill state now. Like literally 3 heroes on top of Funnick, and he can just tank the entire thing. Like this is meant to be the stage where if you're comrades, you can maybe start to finally kill the Ench. It's just not the case. And I guess my biggest concern right now, Parker, is there's a certain item coming out for the Clockwork that is going to make this now unkillable Dragon Knight not feel that way anymore.
Yeah, he's going to have his Spirit Vessel very soon, and we don't see DK yet queue up to BKB, but I do reckon once he sees the Spirit Vessel, he should kind of reconsider, because the thing is, almost all the damage from HR at this point is magical damage, or I mean it's like the Enchantress with the impetus and stuff, but otherwise it's, you know, Warlocks on Fatal Bonds, there's Puck with a Veil, there's Clock. I feel like you just definitely need a BKB at this point.
Yeah,
I think
even
fine here.
Ooh. He's gonna lose Rob away. Davai Lama isn't quite sure. He's slightly perplexed. So where the hell did he go?
Yeah, and you're not really happy with this. I think if you're 5Comrades, DK's gonna port out now, and I think could be in a bad position here.
They could. They're going to go in. Hook shot separates the team a little bit. Force Staff to try and get Bloody Sky away. The Dream Cool does connect on the 2. The cooldown and the Poison Nova might deter King Arp. Asani is going to continue hunting on through. The Illusory Orb might allow him to pursue forward for more. If he decides against it, they'll just go for Davai Lama, who's hung around. Time Dilation to slow him down. Up people as well. Time Warp forward. 1 bash would be enough. Nice toss back. RNG worked in Davai Lama's favor for a moment, but not long enough.
And he kind of went back in there and just decided to die.
Save a hero syndrome, right?
Yeah, and now they're gonna get at least 1 tower. I'm not sure if they're gonna keep going here. They could potentially just keep going because they know that DK form was used just a little while ago, and there's not gonna be a DK.
And not just that, the DK is not going to fight anytime soon. Like, look what he bought.
Yeah, he is going for that AC, so we'll see. We'll see how it turns out.
It's also the way that HR has built that makes the BKB even more crucial, right? Like, you look at Ego's build, now it makes more sense. He went the Manta, and then he's gone for the Diffusal next. So, I don't really see a world in which Taki can survive as your frontline now.
No, and I also think that the BKB actually is like almost a complete counter to almost everything that they have on the side of HR.
Yeah. Now instead, you're going to be battered into. Already been brought low. Dragon Knight feels the pain. The Chrono onto 2. Nice toss out though by Tiny to save the day, but Gyro is stunned up. They can't get on top of him. Really good play from Davai Lama to just minimize the hemorrhaging there as they do lose their DK. We'll lose the
Yeah,
tier 2.
you gotta be thinking about whether you really want to complete this AC right now. SDK.
It's painful, right? Like when you've got the Hyperstone like that, it feels really bad to have to cut yourself at that point. But if you do not get this BKB in, like, I want to say the next 5 minutes, I don't think there's going to be much of a game left to protect.
No, I think you need to recognize that you can't just, you know, keep going with this item, even though you bought one, you know, one of the ingredients for this. I feel like you need to rethink this and just recognize that BKB is what you need this game. Maybe he's relying on the Venomancer farming a fast Lotus Orb or something, but I think that's just way too greedy. It's not just about the Spirit Vessel, it's about the Diffusal from the Void, it's about the silence from the Puck and the Coil, it's about Fatal Bonds, it's about Appeal. Like, there's so many things that you want to get rid of here as the DK.
I mean, it's almost like they're just goading him to build a BKB as well, because Kisani has gone for the Dagon build. He's not even like, I don't need Nags this game, because I'm just looking at your cores, and yeah, Gyro's got a BKB, but nobody else in your team is bothered with that item.
Yeah, the Dagon choice is an interesting one. I think it might actually be kind of nice here. I could have seen him going for the Axe, would have been fine too, but there's only one BKB so far. The Dagon, it kind of allows him to just be able to blow up this IO. You can jump on the IO with the Blink Coil and Veil and Dagon, and the IO will go almost from full to zero.
Probably will go splat with the Veil consideration. There's also just like the amplification factor in conjunction with the Warlock, right? The Fatal Bonds on top of that. That combo alone is probably going to bring all the heroes on the side of Comrades to about half HP.
Yeah, there's no, so far, no pipe, no nothing on the side of 5Comrades, so only the Gyro able to kind of play against these spells if he manages to use his BKB before. And there's going to be a DD bottom. I thought the Puck was going to drop his bottle there, but just, yeah, okay, he gives it to the Void. And now there's going to be a scary fight coming up very soon for 5Comrades. DK has decided now, finally, to queue up the BKB instead of finishing this AC. Thank goodness for his sake.
It's nice to see that he wants to still win this game. I do feel like we hopped on enough, but it's such a critical moment. If you stubbornly continue with that AC, I don't see any way in which you fight in like the next 5-6 minutes, and then at that point you're just hiding in your base, cowering.
Yeah, I think that what 5Comrades could have done this game is, I feel like they could have just completely just focus on farming with this Gyro. He went for some kind of strange build with Drums, BKB, and Satanic. I don't necessarily see how the Satanic is going to help you that much right now. Yeah, you can heal up, back up some of the damage, but I feel like you want to get items that let you farm faster, like earlier on, you know, whether it's SNY or it's a Butterfly or something along those lines, where you can just run around with high mobility and just keep farming, and he's queuing up a Rapier after the Satanic. I think this is very strange build from the Gyrocopter.
It feels like way too much fixation on survival, right? And it's like, you know, you mentioned the Satanic, and there are games where it's the right build, but like if you get chronoed, how is it saving you there? How's it helping you at all?
I mean, I feel like this is one of those, like, it's like you want to be unique, you know, you want to be special and do your own build. And yeah, okay, BKB into Satanic, it's not some super unique thing, but BKB Satanic and then going Rapier, I feel like it's like he's getting way too cute with it. This is not, you know, a complicated thing.
They actually committed the rock on a flat. Okay. I think
Maybe
they thought he
was
was tethering. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I think they thought he was tethering to the Gyro, right? Like, so actually, like, credit where credit is due to Io. Baited them pretty hard there.
Yeah, and with the rock drop, it kind of makes it worth it all of a sudden for 5Comrades there. You don't necessarily, like, the rock is not the end all be all for their team fight now, because they have the Void and they have Fatal Bonds, and you know they have a lot of team fight tools still, but it's still a pretty big spell to just waste like that.
Maybe this will give a bit of breathing room for Comrades to get away with these unique builds you were talking about.
Yeah, now DK is he's queuing up a Bloodthorn instead of the BKB
against the Manta, Void, and well, I guess the Park is still vulnerable. That's the one that like I can thumbs up about, but there's nobody else that you're really going to be able to pick with that.
Not sure about this one, Chief.
Hook shot. 4 stuff. Bloody Sky says perfect. This would be a great poison. No. He's dead. There you go. Stunned up, and Taki realizes very quickly he should not blink down here. He needs to retreat quickly. The buyback comes out from the Venom in the meantime, and the Bastion Gyro? Okay, you got his Satanic off. I don't really know what it's achieving, though. There's a reload to get him out, but that's going to be it. I think you just have to walk away right now. I don't think you can contend with the side of HR at this pit right now. I mean, Flash is as good as dead. And Comrades, I mean, no, it might be in their name, but it doesn't really feel like they're in the trenches together in this one right now.
Well, I think like this game, what I've seen so far is basically just one team giving the game to the other side, and then they give it back, and now they're giving it back again. And it's just the DK, you know, he's jumping in. He doesn't have a BKB. Yeah, he finishes this Orchids now, and I mean, you should be able to see it. Like he jumps in, and in a matter of a few seconds, his HP drops because he doesn't have a BKB. You know, he gets Vesseled. There's some Void with a few Diffusal hits. You're out of mana. You're out of HP. You can't do anything. And it's not like you can burst the Void all of a sudden just because you have Bloodthorn. Yeah, you can try to go for the puck, but you're still gonna die. You're gonna pay with your life. So,
hey, you know, you're underrating that 4 mana regen he has now. He doesn't have to worry about... No, okay. In all seriousness, though, like, it's a fair point. It does have that feeling you were saying where it's almost like one team has been past the game. Like, I don't need any handicap. You don't need to help me. And they pass it back to them. It's just like them stubbornly just taking turns to see who can maybe just slip up a bit more. But it definitely feels like overall, while HR did have the early moments in the last, I want to say 10 minutes, it's been substantially cleaner than 5Comrades execution.
yeah, I think 5Comrades, they had such an easy way for to play this game, but they've just made it so difficult for themselves. Their spell usage has been very strange, and
Oh boy. Let's see what spells they can come up with here. They're gonna need something. There you go, reload. Very short, save the day.
tiny.
I think you need to stay hidden as IOs. They don't know about this. Tiny will be able to escape. I don't know if they realized about the reload and that's no longer available, but they're not concerned with that. Right now, they're just chasing down the Tiny.
I don't even think you're not that concerned with that. If you're 5Comrades, the one thing is though that this DK, he did pop his form, and it's gonna run out in a few seconds, in about 20 or so seconds, I think. And with this Aegis Void with the Chrono ready, I feel like you just go here.
See that right there, Pycat? That's your DK in its entirety. He mildly tickled ego. Well, you know, you can disarm him. He's got that going for him.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta use it though. Gotta use it, buddy.
It seems like he's a little bit worried that maybe he'll run out. He's like, well, I could disarm him, but then they'll burn my mana. And, you know, I've only got 1,000 of it, and I've got all these items to cast. It's tough
that's
being
why
a
he
Dragon
has
Knight.
the Bloodthorn, man.
The mana regen is good. He even took the mana regen talent. I mean, you know, you're countering this diffusal right now with this build. It's completely viable. See,
Yeah, sure.
because of that build, that's why HL went bot instead. They're like, whoa, this guy's, I mean, he's bodyguarding us here. We can't get him.
He's clearly countering everything we want to do right now. Can't do anything.
No, I mean, like,
go bottom.
he hits for 200 damage. I mean, you know, Inch has 1.6k HP. That's scary. He could kill you in, you know, about 10 hits with reductions. It's a scary boy.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to throw in a couple more hits there. There's a chance.
I was considering with like maybe the Bloodthorn and Funnick losing his keyboard for half a minute. See, look, here you go. 1, 2, 3. We'll ignore the other damage helping. The cheese comes out. The Chrono goes down the back line, and Flash has been found. Will be killed off. Tiny separated from the fight as well. As Clockwork stays on top of Exotic Deer. Don't worry, buddy. That's Satanic. We'll send you exactly the same. And it looks like the rest of your team will not be far behind you as Nantaki gets wailed on. Chased on the bloody skies. The GG comes out. And you could feel it was going this way for several minutes now. But HR, they close out game 1.
Yeah, and I think that was, to me at least, I feel like this should be just an easy win with how the early game went. Yeah, the lanes initially kind of went slightly the way of HR, but then thanks to some tiny rotations and